We're going to bring in now France 24's Reza Sayah, who joins me live from Tehran. Reza, what are you hearing on your end? Has there been any confirmation or denial from Iran about the fate of Ali Larijani?
No, absolutely not. No statements, no comments from Iranian government officials, military officials. It reports that Mr. Larijani has been killed. We should remind our viewers that in conjunction with this military war, there's also an information war where both sides throughout the past couple of weeks have made claims, have given out reports that have been false. Of course, over the past 24 hours, there's been increasing reports here in Tehran that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been killed. So if indeed those reports are true that Mr. Larijani has been killed, obviously it will be a significant blow. But the past 2 weeks, this war has shown that even with senior military and government officials being killed, it has not deterred Tehran, and their position is that they'll continue to fight.
Now, Israel has said it will continue to go down the line, so to speak, killing all of Iran's leadership one by one, no matter who is put in that position. How long can Iran last like that if that is the case?
Well, their position is that they're not going to be deterred and they're ready for this fight. And this is what's deeply concerning to a lot of observers, especially innocent civilians here in Iran and throughout the region that are caught up in these hostilities. And that concern is this seemingly endless cycle of violence. I think from Tehran's point of view, increasingly they view Washington and Tel Aviv as having made a miscalculation and believing that this military attack started by Israel in the United States would decapitate the Iranian leadership and lead to an uprising in the streets. We've now been 18 days into this war and no such thing has happened. And we should point out that as the days go on, the senior leadership here, government officials and military officials, seemingly they're growing in confidence that their message is we've faced the toughest hits from Israel and the United States, and they're not going to be deterred. But what's deeply concerning is this cycle of violence where civilians are paying the price over the past 24 hours, more airstrikes, more bombings, more air raids here in Tehran and beyond.
And Reza, what is life like for people day to day at the moment in Tehran, especially given the weight of what's been happening recently with these constant strikes?
It's been absolute hell, and that's because war is hell. We should point out that millions of Iranians have left the city. They've escaped to places that are not being pounded by bombs. Those who have stayed are showing remarkable resilience, remarkable grit, and courage. They're doing their best to go about their lives. A lot of businesses and shops are closed, but you have a lot of shops that are open. People are doing their best to provide services, but it's frightening for them. Every day they wake up wondering when the next airstrike is going to hit, and when it's going to hit and where it's going to hit. And increasingly, we're seeing targets that are being hit, and there's no indication that they're involved in hostilities. They're civilian targets, residential buildings, hospitals, sports arenas, sports facilities, fuel depots. Obviously, many civilians have been hurt. And it's astonishing to me as a journalist that this very large city, one of the biggest cities in the world, one of the biggest capitals in the world, has been the target of airstrikes almost every day for the past 18 days. And many Iranians are increasingly saying, where is the international community? Why is the international community being silent?
I assume, I mean, I'm only speaking in the name of what I can only assume is what some of those international people in the international community are thinking, is that until a new leadership is put into place, I don't know if the international community will come in. Given that, do we have any idea who is in charge in Iran at the moment? I mean, we're hearing stories about perhaps the new supreme leader being treated in Russia. What more do we know about who's actually running Iran at the moment?
First of all, Tehran's response to that view that you just shared is based on what international law can two countries come and change leadership. So that's what they're repeatedly saying. And that's why they're surprised that the international community is staying silent on international law. As far as who's running the country, it's the military leadership. It's the foreign minister. It's Ali Larijani. And increasingly, they're in lockstep with their message. Their position was leading into this war, prior to this war, for months and for years, that we believe in diplomacy. We believe that there's a diplomatic solution to the concerns of the West. And obviously, there was a 2015 nuclear deal that was ripped up by US President Donald Trump in his first term. Then it was back in June where they had several meetings and indirect negotiations with the US. In the middle of those negotiations, they were attacked. And of course, last month, again, another round of indirect negotiations, and they were attacked by Israel and the United States. So their position is they've given diplomacy a chance. We're willing to concede and give up concessions. And from Tehran's point of view, an agreement, a diplomatic solution is not what the US wants. It's not what Israel wants. From their view, they want regional hegemony. They want to destabilize Iran and decapitate Iran. In 18 days into this war that simply hasn't happened, and it's an indication that the leadership is still intact. How long that remains, obviously, that's a big question.